Good evening, late night college football internet. The season is officially, well, that's it, Ryan. That's it. And I know you stand.
Oh, I thought you were going to say.
That was a duet.
I thought you were going to do And I Will Always Love You.
Is that what we talked about?
Just move on.
Okay, I'm just going to move on. An unbelievable game for the ages. Alabama, Clemson. It comes down to, God, I guess special teams. Of all things that it could have happened.
Yeah, in part.
In part, special teams, some blown coverages, some big injuries.
We saw a kick return for a touchdown.
Yes.
We saw an onside kick recovered by Alabama. We
Yes.
saw a missed field goal by Alabama, but
did
also
indeed.
Alabama partially blocking a kick.
Got their fingers on it.
We saw a really impressive, some great punting in this game.
We legitimately did see some very
really
good punting. No, it was a great game. It was two unbelievably great teams who had terrific championship caliber seasons.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, one of the teams had to go down. It was Clemson, but an otherworldly effort from DeShaun Watson and the Clemson offense.
Yep.
All things considered, going against a defense as insanely great as Alabama's has been and was for a good chunk of this game.
Look at these numbers DeShaun Watson put up.
Otherworldly.
Almost 300 total, almost 500.
Almost 500, he goes over 400 yards through the air.
Almost 500 total yards of offense.
Yes.
4 touchdowns. The one interception was a little bit bad, but overall, efficient, elusive.
Completed almost 65% of his passes,
Essentially did everything he could.
Yes.
To win this game. If you went to a Clemson fan before this game and said, hey, DeShaun Watson's going to throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Oh, also, he's going to give you 70 yards on the ground.
Pick up huge
I have
third
a feeling
downs.
they'd say, I think that, please, can I have that?
That is the formula.
This is mine, I can keep
Clemson,
this?
especially with the way the defense played, getting to Jake Coker early on in this game, really setting a tone for the Tigers. Have a 3-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Everything you want from Clemson in this game. Unfortunately, Alabama just finds a way. They get it in special teams with the onside kick. They get it with the Kenyon Drake kickoff return, and then they get it with O.J. Howard, a man quiet most of the season. Comes into Alabama. Most of his career, really.
Had 2 career touchdowns before this game, and goes out and just puts up great numbers.
Yes.
Just great numbers.
Great numbers. Obviously, the Clemson secondary wounded. Alabama takes advantage. Jay Coker makes a couple of enormous throws in this game, both with blown coverage and on a huge second down, third down. He made this game for Alabama, and it was great to see because Clemson gave Alabama everything they could possibly handle.
It feels so weird to talk about how O.J. Howard being an overlooked part of the Alabama
number 1
offense.
tight end.
Right.
Coming out of high school, five-star
kid. This clearly
kid,
talented, all everything potentially tight end, who finally goes out and shows you why he was such a force to be reckoned with. And,
Absolutely.
And weirdly, the play that I think was most impressive because he had a number of these plays just blown coverage, but that second down play where it looks like he's going to get stopped for a loss.
Yes.
Gets
Finds
by,
Ardarius
works up the sideline, and keeps going. Really impressive.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So there you have it, 45-40, the final score.
Yeah.
Alabama, once again, your national champion.
Do you want to take some questions? Or do you want to skip to this?
Okay, so we made...
Where do you want to go?
So we're wearing these stupid turtlenecks for a reason.
Because we love Danny Cannell, and we think he works hard and thinks about his opinions carefully.
Yes. Or we think they're silly. It's one of the two. It's one of the two, really. Anyway, we made some prop bets. It turns out your prop bet champion is
Dan Rubenstein.
Is this
close.
guy right here. It was close.
That last touchdown by Clemson shifted it.
Yes.
From
a
me
backdoor
being
cover.
the victor to you.
Yes, a backdoor cover.
It also lost your brother some money, which was very funny.
It was great.
Which is very
He
funny.
wagered on Alabama to cover the spread, and not so good.
So for somebody who has no affiliation with Alabama, such confidence.
He was very confident in this game.
Confidence.
So Alabama covers the spread. They go over the over-under. They get the longest touchdown, or the longest touchdown was over 50.5 yards. Derrick Henry's total rushing yards went over. DeShaun Watson's passing attempt.
Alabama fails to cover the spread, you mean?
Alabama fails to cover the spread, which I had taken the points.
Right.
Excuse me. And DeShaun Watson went over the 36 over-under pass attempts. And even though there was only one Auburn fan
we were
spotted.
only told, I'm not going to pretend like we saw everything.
Right.
I was told there was one Auburn fan seen at this game.
We missed it.
Props to you. I hope you're local. That's all I'll say.
You hope
because
they're
you're
local.
either local or you bought your plane tickets in August?
Yeah. That sounds right.
So
That sounds
let's
right.
hope you're local.
Got a
and
great
then
deal.
surrender cobras in the first half, there were none.
No.
We had a bunch in the second
In the
half.
second half, there were many.
I believe DeShaun Watson was the first surrender cobra of the game.
That was a
pointed
mega
out.
surrender cobra, yeah.
So there's
So,
that.
I win. I have a prepared statement for
Okay.
you. It says, for Ryan. For Ryan.
I have not seen this. I don't know what I'm
He has
about
not
to
seen it?
read. I will read it with
This
all.
is live on the internet. We're in safe harbor
sincerity.
hours.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, good.
I think we're good.
Good. Put your kids to bed if they.
Listen, a wager is a wager
Can
is
we
a
not
wager.
afford higher quality envelopes?
They're not the best.
I'm gonna
not the
write a
best.
letter about this. Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, it's typed.
Yes.
This whole thing. Okay. Damn,
your
a
camera's
hard
this one.
day's rockin'. Better slip off my shoes. Maybe give a little stretch and a bend. Dip my toe to jacuzzi, baby. Slip out this book, The Buttress of Windsor. Ho, ho, ho. Who's this? How's it going? That's the first thing I say to you. How's it going? Are you flowing? Listen, honey, thinking about a couple things to say to you. Showing, growing, man, I'd like to place my hand upon your effing sexy ass and squeeze and squeeze.
Do you have any idea what that is?
No, I don't.
It's
actually.
Tenacious D. It's Tenacious D.
Do you want to?
I would love to.
Just for, I mean, you
What
don't
time?
have
It's
to.
1:30
You don't
a.m.
have to, but I think mine
this
is
is a pretty
certainly
bad
more to the
envelope.
point,
Oh, okay. That's fine.
but not as lengthy as that.
Here we go. I, Dan Rubenstein, being an Oregon fan of sound mind, do willingly declare the following. This is not okay. He wrote here, Michael Dyer was not down. That's what he wrote.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I won the wager.
Yeah, you did.
Do we have any good
Congratulations.
questions? Have you scanned the questions
I've scanned
at all?
a few. I've scanned a few.
What do you have?
This is not a question. This comes
Yeah.
from Lindsay Theory, our personal friend.
Yes.
You guys, stop trying to make this look happen. It isn't happening. And
Whoa.
yet here we are. Here we are. We'll go to something better than that.
Yeah, what do you have?
Here's a good question from Ben Dawson. Iowa's winning the playoff next year.
I just
aren't
didn't
they?
see this.
I mean,
I'm a
so
little worried about that.
I'll pull up the Iowa schedule right
Please
now.
do.
I'll do that live on the internet. Who we got?
Your turtleneck that's more of a statement. Your turtleneck is offensive.
So we've got the North Dakota State Bison coming to town in
Right.
week 3. Always a tough game. On the road, they have to play Rutgers, Minnesota, Purdue, Penn State, Illinois. That is a manageable road schedule.
It's not bad.
They do play Michigan. That will be a key game.
Yep.
You know what? Why not? Let's say Iowa is going to run the table next year. Revenge.
That'll be weird.
It's going to be
in
super
Tampa.
weird.
Iowa's in
They've
Tampa.
been to the Outback Bowl like 3 times.
That is true.
They're super
They're
ready
used to
for it.
Okay.
You got what else do we want to hit?
What would make you excited enough to bro out as insanely as bald Alabama fan within inches of a dude who could destroy you? My brother went crazy
He did.
watching
Over
this
money.
game over money.
Over money.
I don't think I could do it at a stadium like that. A lot of drinking.
Yeah, you got to be drinking.
A lot of drinking. I don't see it.
We're too old for it. Is the
know,
problem?
that's what it
Could
is.
I have in the past? Here's a serious question.
Yes.
From Landon Howell. What was the most crucial play of the game?
It feels like, gosh, probably the kick return.
Kick return's a good one.
Yeah.
Jake Coker picking up that third down near the goal
Yeah.
line when you feel
That
like
was on the
Alabama
rollout, yeah.
almost certainly. I mean, granted, it still would have a made field goal still leaves Alabama up by
8 points.
It means Clemson has to drive the field when Alabama's maybe not playing
Right.
soft. They have to get
Even
two.
that O.J. Howard sort of swing, that was
Yeah.
meant for 5 or 6 yards.
I actually think an underrated pick for this would be the the beautiful touchdown throw in the back of the end zone that got knocked out of, I forget who
Right,
Clemson
on the
had
left-hand
that
side
to.
of the end zone, yeah.
But I think that was a big that ended up being big 4 points for
That-
Alabama to keep off the board.
That would have given Clemson the lead to the point where Alabama, because they had run the ball early with Derrick Henry,
Yeah.
but were not on that level at that point. They would have had to become a little bit more one-dimensional with Jay Coker. And I don't know if they were prepared to do so, at least at that point.
There's some sad Clemson fans out there.
There are.
our own Spencer Hall prepared a little something that we think might bring you some comfort, some words of
it's so nice.
Some words of kindness. If we can,
It's just a game.
guys in the booth, let's go ahead and bring Spencer on and try to soothe some hurt feelings.
Hi, Clemson. You just lost the national title game. I'm here to help. First of all, you're part of a grand tradition in South Carolina, which is losing battles that you started but couldn't exactly finish. Historically, it's a thing you do. Second, you lost to the best. You lost to Alabama. Plenty of people have lost to Alabama. Almost everyone has lost to Alabama. Like, I bet even Mississippi lost to Alabama, because, like, it's Mississippi. So anyway, another thing that you can take solace in from all this is that you're a program on the rise. You had a 14-0 season with an ACC championship game, victories over Florida State and South Carolina, beat all your rivals, cleaned them out, and got to watch DeShaun Watson play football. So that's not all bad. The final thing you can be happy about is that this is just the bad end to an otherwise good year. 14-0, undefeated program just heading in a skyward trajectory, unstopped to the horizon. Great recruiting class, good coaches, great chemistry, and in addition to that, all your rivals have completely fallen apart. Georgia, one of your big rivals for recruits, just hired Kirby Smart, which is basically like saying we wanted Nick Saban, but we got a Dodge Stratus. In addition to that, South Carolina, your biggest rival, they just hired Will Muschamp. Remember that? That was a thing they really did. It's true, you didn't make it up. It's all coming up roses. Will Muschamp.
It's never.
It's true.
It used to be so
It's
bad when
true.
videos would end with Spencer saying "Will Muschamp" and raising his arms.
Yeah.
And now that was like an inspiring, good moment, I think.
Yeah, the emotion's different. It's
Yes.
still evil.
It's
but
still evil.
It's improved evil.
Let me
I
tell you
guess.
something. As an Oregon Ducks fan,
Yeah.
nobody has more recent experience than the Oregon Duck fan, the generic Oregon Duck fan,
Right.
after losing a national championship
That's true.
game.
That's true.
Ohio State lost a couple times in the sort of mid-aughts, right? To both to Florida and LSU.
Yep.
Oregon has lost to Auburn
Yep.
and Ohio State recently.
yeah.
So I've had this evening. I went to both of those games.
Yes.
So what you're feeling
With
right
Spencer
now?
to one of them.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is true. What you're feeling right now, Clemson fans, it hurts. And it should hurt because you had an amazing season. You had an all-time quarterback, Heisman finalist. You played a great game, probably a better game than Oregon played in either one of their national championship runner-up.
Definitely the last one. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely than the last one.
So it's going to sting tonight. It'll sting a little bit tomorrow, but you're going to look back on this season pretty happily, I would say. A lot of great
I
memories.
hope so.
Yeah, as they should.
It was a really impressive run.
Yeah.
Clemson put together, and that includes this game.
Yes.
Like, we really haven't seen somebody. Most of the time, if Alabama loses to you,
Right.
or if you lose to Alabama, rather, you either get trucked,
Yes.
or you play that ugly, nasty 12-9 strangle out
You
a
get the
field
slow
goal at
choke,
the end.
yeah.
Yeah. But this was, I mean, Clemson sort of made Alabama adjust to them in some
I
ways.
was going to say, we talked about in the pregame show, you can't play Alabama's game.
Right.
Clemson made Alabama play the Tigers' game.
Yeah.
Which Ole Miss did to a certain extent,
Mm-hmm,
but it was quite impressive. And the fact that early on in this game, it was Clemson's defensive front.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
more impressive of the two, between a wounded Shaq Lawson getting to Jay Coker and Kevin Dodd absolutely wrecking shop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So everything was there for Clemson and nothing to hold your head in shame about.
No, not at all.
More questions?
We can look for more.
Yeah.
Somebody's complaining that this is from Ishmael Johnson. Can Ryan not wear a Texas State shirt next season? Pretty sure they went 3-8 after he did.
Are you
sorry.
cursed?
I probably am. I mean, at least this season, I'm not doing a show with you right after you watched Oregon lose
Right.
a national title.
That was rough.
But since I've gone full time, Oregon has not won their last game of the season.
Okay.
So
Okay. Thanks
it's-
for that.
I like the Texas
Fire
State
nanny.
shirt though.
How do you rank this Alabama team, not just with other Alabama championship teams, but recent other champions?
Ooh.
With what
That's
context?
really interesting. I guess you look at this Alabama team and you look at what they faced all season.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, the SEC wasn't what we thought it might be.
Right.
But they faced some very tough competition in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Their non-conference was not nothing. Wisconsin,
Sure.
while not necessarily a top 3 team in the Big Ten, was
Right.
nobody to sneeze at. They demolished Florida in this SEC title game. I mean, I think all told, we will maybe remember them more for this game than the Michigan State game.
Right.
And that's probably a more fitting summation of Alabama this season. They were not, they didn't feel like the team that was 10 levels better than everyone else and was just going to stomp all those who dared get in their way. Teams like Arkansas and Tennessee were able to give them games where past Alabama teams might not. But this was one of the more fun Alabama teams to watch.
I would agree. Yes.
I know some people aren't going to like to hear that.
Right. No, Derrick Henry.
Because Alabama's not fun generally, but this was a fun one.
Derrick Henry, as much as he did after contact, he gets that fourth, fifth step, and what are you supposed to do?
Right.
What are you supposed to do? They have Calvin Ridley, who shows up later on in the season. He certainly wasn't on the level consistency-wise as, say, a Julio Jones or an Amari Cooper, but certainly has a ceiling that's quite high. I don't know if I'd put them up there with previous Alabama teams just because they seem like more consistent efficiency and destructive forces, but they were damn fun.
Yeah, and this was a wonderful test that they got.
Yes.
This Clemson team was so much fun to watch in their own right. I mean, it was just nice that we, after a college football season, I guess a bowl season especially, that people thought was kind of up and down and had some yawners. This was a super fun game.
And I should also add, there is no way Ohio State could have given Alabama a better game than Clemson. How about that?
Yeah, no, that's probably right. You're going to get so many negative tweets about that.
With this Ohio State offensive staff?
You're right. I know.
I don't trust it.
Fine, that's true. God. I'm already regretting what we're going to get out of that.
It's okay. It's late.
Any final thoughts on, if you're looking forward to next season?
Right.
Who should feel good? Who should feel a little apprehensive?
Clemson should feel great.
Yeah.
Clemson should feel, they still have Brent Venables, DeShaun Watson.
Yes.
The receivers, the receiving core is going to be healthier. I think Florida State should feel pretty good. They've got options at quarterback. I think they'll be back right there. Auburn can't be worse. If we're gonna keep talking SEC West,
there is that.
Ohio State should feel good. They've recruited a ton.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's what I'm looking forward to, because we sort of haven't been able to talk about them for a while, just speaking college football wise. Baylor with a healthy Seth Russell.
Hopefully.
I think a hopefully healthy Seth Russell is something that I am personally looking forward to as an exciting thing.
Okay. I think Miami should feel good.
Yes, Miami should feel great.
It's maybe a question of how soon that good feeling is going to pan out into something, but it's just nice to have sort of a feeling like, oh, there's a plan at Miami.
Yes.
And it's from people who know what they're doing. And
Brad Kaya has a real quarterback coach.
Who will be able to execute on it.
Stacey Coley's back,
Yeah. I think if you're a fan at Penn State, maybe you don't feel so good right now, and that's okay.
It's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't have anything more useful than that to say to you. And if you're a fan at, who else?
Michigan should feel great.
Michigan should feel good.
Really like
Iowa
Michigan.
should feel good.
Yep. Hey, here's
Pitt,
a team.
if you're a Pitt fan, you should feel good.
I was going to say Texas.
Sure, whatever. Oh, if you're a Virginia Tech fan. If you're a Virginia Tech or a Virginia fan, you should feel good.
Yeah.
Mostly because we're going to pay attention. Like, we get to throw out all the tired, old, stupid jokes that idiots like me make about Frank Beamer being old and about Mike London being a cop.
Yes.
And they're gone now. We get to make new jokes.
The depth of intrigue going into 2016, and granted we're barely into the year, I think is already better than what we had going into this season.
Sure. I think that's fair.
I think the storylines, I think the unknown quantities, I think the returning talent, especially the offensive skill talent. You look at Nick Chubb is going to be healthy and back. Dalvin Cook, Royce Freeman, Christian McCaffrey, Adoree Jackson. It goes across
Leonard
the country.
Fournette,
Leonard Fournette, JT Barrett.
Yeah.
There's just a ton of recognizable names that are going to be back. Hopefully Seth Russell once again.
Baker Mayfield.
Keontae Turpin, there's just...
I'm going to miss Bill Fuller.
We are going to miss Bill Fuller.
I'm going to miss Bill Fuller.
But Josh Adams and, Torrin Folston, these players.
Yep.
There are recognizable names that it's sort of like looking at a TV guide in 1997. Like, oh man, look at all these great shows.
Yeah.
So I feel great. I feel great about 2016. I feel great about this national championship game. A hell of an effort from both teams. Two great championship caliber teams. That's all I have. A Weird Tenacious D lyric sheet. A complete falsehood.
Michael Dyer was not down.
A complete falsehood.
Yeah.
But hey, It's now
Let's wrap it up.
1:45
Oh,
a.m.
it's so late. I'm so tired.
Thank you for watching. We couldn't be happier that you stayed up to watch our nonsense.
Never wearing this again.
Stay tuned to SB Nation for all sorts of fun college football things. We'll see you soon. Have a good night.